What's going on, guys? Blazing here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you are having a wonderful day, and thank you again for joining me in another Raid Shadowlands video. Guys, we are going to start the chase for Lydia. And in particular, we're going to be not using any crazy OP champions, right? We're going to be doing it with strictly rares and epics, and the only legendary champions we're going to be using are maybe current fusions like Newt and log and reward champions, right? So we'll use Scylla Drakes and stuff like that. So before I get into the video though, again, if you like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I always answer every comment, or if you want to have a private conversation, feel free to DM me in Discord. But let's get into it. All right, so the first one that we're going to start off with on the chase to Lydia is going to be the Barbarians faction. Next to the High Elves, this is probably the easiest one to complete, right? And for this one, we are going to use LiQWYD, we are going to use Scylla the Drakes, we are going to use Soulbound Boyar, we're going to use War Maiden, and we're going to use Ferric in the Fat. Now, I know some of you might say, well, I don't have a Ferric in the Fat. No problem. If you got Shield Guard, right, you can use Shield Guard. If you've picked up Yannicka from the clan shop, you can use Yannicka. If you've picked up, what is this guy right here? What's his name? Your Carl, right? You could use him, no problem. There's plenty of substitutions that you can use for Ferric in the Fat. He just helps out because he has the ally attack, and he's got the decreased defense and poisons. So it does help the faction, right? So let's go. It is a full 100% auto run. You can manual it if you so choose to. Coming up to this wave, the Torture Helm is probably going to be your biggest difficulty, right? So I would always probably caution you to maybe target him first if you're just starting this out, right? If not, you're fine. You know, the team is going to take care of it, no problem. So it's 24 seconds, first boss, we're down. You can see the War Maiden coming in clutch with that decreased defense, right? The big boy decreased defense is huge. AoE. Our basic damage dealer here is actually Soulbound Boyar, right? And she's got AoEs. She is currently in a stun set. I'll show you the gear afterwards. But she takes care of all of the ads, right? No problems, nothing whatsoever. Scylla the Drakes is keeping everybody nice and topped off. And then LiQWYD is just keeping us going, right? You can see here. There we go. We're getting some stuns off on the ads. This boss is a little annoying because the boss does freeze you. So it will be a little bit of a pain. But as long as, you know, you have Scylla the Drakes on, and as long as you're going fast enough, you should be fine. Some of the things to actually take note of when building a lot of these champions is going to be the speed. You really need to make sure you have speed on the champions. I can't tell you how many account takeovers I do, and people are not putting any speed on their champions. So we're about a minute to almost 2 minutes now. War Maiden coming again, clutch in with that huge decreased defense. We do not have a decreased attack on this team. So it, you know, the Scylla the Drakes is kind of needed. If you did have a decreased attack, you could probably put everybody in lifesteal and not have to worry about it. We didn't do that because we have Scylla the Drakes, so we can, you know, kind of tank a little bit of it. But you can see here, nobody's dropped down below 50% HP. And it's not going to be a speed run, but it is going to be a consistent 3-star, especially for you if you're trying to get it for the first time. This is definitely 18. 2 minutes 32 seconds, right? You've got Soulbound Boyar coming in at 1.1 million almost. You got LiQWYD coming in at almost 1 million damage. Scylla Drakes at 300,000. War Maiden at 240,000. And Ferric in the Fat at 283,000. So let's get into the builds. First, we're going to go over the Scylla of the Drakes. Now, the Scylla of the Drakes has a build that I pretty much use for Doom Tower to man a lot of the bosses, like Griffin and stuff. So she just kind of stays in that build. We don't really change her. And it's a decent, good build for her, right? So we have her built in a regeneration and speed set. Now, the gear sets themselves are not needed. They are an extra, right, which helps us, but they are not needed. If you have bolster set, you could put her in a bolster set. If you have triple immortal sets, you could put her in triple immortal sets. But usually when you build your healers or your revivers, you want them in something that's going to keep them healthy, right? So make sure you take note of that. She does have 2 refresh accessories. They are not needed, right? We don't really care. They do help, but the amounts of times that, you know, it's going to come in is very minuscule compared to something else that could be a little more tankiness or a little more speed or something like that, right? As for builds, we have her at 58k HP, 3.2k defense. Now, both of these are pretty obtainable. I just did an account takeover for Steve, and his Scylla the Drake's HP is way higher than what I have, and her defense is quite a bit higher. Speed is 225, right? You want them nice and fast. Whenever you build a champion, especially for faction wars, you want to make sure you have them over 200 speed, right? The rule of 200. 66 crit rate, 95 crit damage. We don't care about that. We don't want any of it, right? 333 resistance. It's nice to have, but it's not needed. If you have it, it's fine. It works. Accuracy, 364, right? We do want accuracy. Ideally, you know, I get it. When you're early game, the best you're probably going to be able to get with trying to fit some of these stats in is going to be about 250, which is perfect. But once you start moving into later game, you know, mid game, late game, you want to try to hit closer to like 400, right? Because once you start using her in Doom Tower and stuff, her her accuracy is going to be resisted quite a bit if she's not around those numbers. We do have her fully booked. She does not need to be fully booked, right? She can work out well. It's all about the passive, right? Trying to get that extra healing. The stun's great, but we're not really, you know, we're not really too concerned about that. And then if you can get the decreased speed and the turn meter manipulation on the A1, so be it. But it's not going to make or break your team. We do have Brimstone for her. Since she does require accuracy and she is the only legendary on the team, we took Brimstone, trying to help us out. As for masteries, they are not needed, but if you do take them, I would suggest going down to the offensive tree for Fearsome Presence, right? And then I would go Sniper, Evil Eye, and Cycle of Magic. Now, you could also make the argument and go defense and offense and not worry about any accuracy, and then just take War Master. That'll also help your runs go faster. Now we have High Katoon, and High Katoon is basically built for my Clan Boss team. Nothing really spectacular, nothing really, you know, she's just built out for full-on damage, right? So she does have one counterattack accessory, not really needed. She is in a speed set and cruel set, not really needed. Remember, always stats over sets, right? That's what we care about. Even if it's broken sets, stats over sets. The only time it really starts to matter is on your arena nukers. That's when you want the savage and the lethal and all of that. Other than that, everything else, stats over sets. As for the build, we have her at 34k HP, 4.1k attack. Again, it is not needed. 2.2k defense, 255 speed, 107 crit rate, 217 crit damage, 198 resist, and 162 accuracy. Again, bear in mind that this is my boss, my clan boss build. So if you were to build her in general PvE purposes, or in general purposes for not for clan boss, you would really want to try to focus more on speed, right? Then EHP, and then try to get some accuracy on her. So if you can get her closer to like 275, 300 speed with maybe about 250 accuracy and trying to, you know, beef up the HP to about 50,000, you'd be fine. And then just ignore the crit rate and crit damage. It's not needed. As for books, we do have her fully booked. Do you need her fully booked? No. The most benefit you're going to get is out of the A2, right? Which is a 4-turn cooldown. But if you're already going at 275, 250 speed, and you have this active, you're already going to be going faster than everybody else. So it's not really necessary. You could use it without books. If you land the book on the A2, c'est la vie, we're done, over with, move on to the next champion, right? Phantom Touch is what we did take on her. Now, if we didn't have Ferric in the Fat with Cruelty, then we would take Cruelty on her, right? And as for masteries, again, this is my clan boss masteries. We did have her, let's move her into my collection, sorry about that. We do have her going all the way down to War Master, and we did take Lord of Steel, Evil Eye, and Sniper. Now, you could go a different way, right? You could go down to Timely Intervention, you know, to increase the speed boost if somebody drops below 25%, you know, help everybody else on your team go faster. I wouldn't suggest it. I think the build that I currently have for her masteries work fine. But, you know, Hell Hades website has plenty of different builds depending on what you want to do with her. Now we come to probably one of the top 5 rares in the game, which is War Maiden. Now, War Maiden is a farmable champion from the campaign, so you can go grab her from there. You know, I think she looks a little chilly, but she is from the desert. We don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But she doesn't look tanned at all, so I'm kind of confused. We do have her built in a triple perception set. She does not need triple perception, right? We just have it, and that's what we build. Remember, stats over sets. As for the build, we have her at 47k HP, 2.7k attack. We don't care about the attack. 2.2k defense, 229 accuracy, 103 crit rate, 96 crit damage, 162 resistance, and 433 accuracy. So the way you want to build her is fast, right? You want her going ahead of your damage dealers. So the only people that can go ahead of her should be maybe your Soul of the Drakes or your High Katoon. But any damage dealers should go after her, right? So, and then just focus on basically keeping her tanky. Try to hit about 45 to 50k HP. 2,000 to 2,500 defense is great. And then, you know, accuracy, I use her in a secret rare room. So you could essentially try to go for a little more accuracy, but 250 should be good enough for you. If you have the crit rate, fit it in. If not, walk away, move on to the next build, right? As for skills, we do have her fully booked, right? She is a champion that can be farmed out of the campaign, so why not, right? Phantom Touch is what we did take for her if you have a blessing. As for masteries, now I did used to have her in a stun set before I implemented Soul Bond into the team, right? But that's why we had down to Fearsome Presence. Now I'm going to be actually switching it to War Master. I'll keep the support tree the way it is, and then I'll just go down to the standard War Master tree. As for the support tree, you want to go Master Hexer, Evil Eye, and that's really much about it. Now we have Soul Bond Warrior, and you know, she is. I think at one point I had like 3 built on the account because she just helped out with the rare secret room, right? You put them all in a stun set and just let them go with their A1s, and no one's taking a turn ever. So she is awesome. If you can fit her in a stun set, I would totally do so. Especially depending on what other champions you're going to bring for a damage dealer, right? If you're not going to bring the Ferric and the Fat, and you've got a Ykarl, I would put her in a stun set and just make her tanky. But in this build, we have her in a stun set and perception, right? We do have her at 37k HP, 4.1, almost 2k attack, 1.9k defense, 217 speed. Again, guys, remember, it is crucial. Going over 200 speed, you want to make sure you're going 2 times for every time that the ads are going. 80% crit rate, you can actually build her with 70%. You could probably even build it lower if you use her aura. I would not suggest that, though. I would definitely use High Katoon. And then 250 crit damage, 160 resistance, we don't care about that, and 262 accuracy. It is nice to put some accuracy on her because she does have some turn meter manipulation, right? So her skills, we do have her fully booked. She is a rare. Eventually, if you pull enough of the misery shards, you can get enough copies of her. As for blessings, we did go down and take Phantom Touch, right? Masteries wise, we did have her in Fearsome Presence, but we no longer need that. We did take her all the way down to War Master, right? We took Laura Steel and Evil Eye. Basically, hers and War Maidens, you could go either or for the masteries. I would suggest for both of them, though, going this way. Even if you're just going to get the Sunset and you want to use the Fearsome Presence, I would still take the War Master procs over that. That's just me. Next, we have possibly the second best ally attack champion in the game, with Cardiel being first, and him and Longbeard being pretty equal, right? Longbeard allows you to do full damage on your ally attacks, but Ferrican brings in crit rate and crit damage, so that is huge. We do not have him fully ascended. We are currently waiting for a CVC, right? He's with some points, but we do have him built in a perception and bolster set. He does like to take some damage, So anything we can do to, increase his survivability, increase his regeneration of health is welcomed, but is not needed again, right? We do have him with roughly 40k HP, 2.7k attack, 2000 defense, 215 speed, 106 crit rate, 121 crit damage, and then 394 accuracy, right? The accuracy, we want to basically have it to around 400 because he can be used in certain content in the end game. I always like building my champions for one and done and not have to go back. As we know, silver is a problem sometimes in the game, right? So I don't like to rip off gear from champions. I want the builds to stay as is, which may not be the case for a lot of players in the early to mid game, right? You will have to borrow gear from champion to champion to defeat certain factions. But for him, basically what we want to focus on is making sure he's fast, right? Over 200 speed. You want to make sure that he is healthy. So if you can beef up the defense a little more, go for it. 45, 50k HP would be great, but it doesn't matter, right? And if you can make him faster, do so. The only issue you might have with the low speed is if you are using him in arena for a blender comp, it may not work at 215. So you will have to take a look at it. But for skills wise, we do have him fully booked. We don't really need him fully booked, right? We care about the A3, and it is on a 6-turn cooldown. If you're just going to use him for faction wars and you're not going to use him for arena at all, he's fine not being booked, right? We're not really caring too much about the HP burn and the poison. He is a great and solid clan boss champion, right? So he's definitely worth it for that. But if you're running a Demetha or something else, a man-eater comp, and you're not using him, I wouldn't really rush to book him. You could leave him at 50, just build him tanky, and be fine with it. We did take Cruelty for him, right? As for masteries, we didn't put any on him. We didn't need him. But if you did, I would go down, again, War Master, and then you can go Sniper and Master Hexer. Take Lord Steel to help you get some extra bonuses. But that is it, guys. Hopefully this helped you. If it did, let me know in the comments down below. If you want me to do more of these, quicker, I can try to do so. Again, let me know in the comments down below. I do plan on bringing one of these out every couple of days. It does take a little bit of resource and time to record these. So, as always, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.